Is perfectionism killing some things in your life? From my experience, perfectionism kills three main things. I'm sure it probably hurts other areas of life as well, but speaking from my own experience, there are three main things that I think perfectionism kills. And, you know, I think we all have some perfectionism to some degree or another, but I believe that the more traumatic your childhood, the more perfectionism is probably running, or should we say ruining your life. I've already talked in another video about some of my childhood. I mean, it was difficult, but I know there are other childhoods that are less difficult than mine, and there's certainly more that are a lot worse than mine. My mom was mentally unstable, not well, let's put it that way, unwell. She went into severe postpartum depression, we think, when I was born, and so she rejected me, did not want anything to do with me. My older sister brought me up, on and on. And then my dad left from her, probably from her depression. Who knows? I can't speak to their marriage. They're both gone now. But she was either raging and hitting me and slamming my fingers in the door, or she did all kinds of things. The stories could go on and on. But she was either doing that or sleeping from depression. From the time I was 9, both of my sisters had already left the house and my brother went off to college. It was just my mom and I. And from the time I was 9, I made dinner, I got myself to school, I ironed my uniform, I mowed the lawn, I did everything. So it was, challenging. But anyway, in the beginning of my life, my coping mechanism that I learned was perfectionism. I tried so hard to be the perfect girl. I was a straight A student. I was the nerd in school that was shy and didn't talk much and, whatever. Somewhat got made fun of, didn't exactly fit in, but I was really smart or seemingly, it's questionable now, but okay, I was seemingly smart then. And straight A student, like I said, but I tried to be perfect. I was perfect in school. I tried to be perfect at home. Later on, in my adolescence, I recognized that was not going to get her to love me. But still, I don't want to say the damage was done, because I think you can change things in your own life. But sort of the damage was done, to coin a phrase, in that a perfectionist was born. And I went on to, do all the things that perfectionists do. So the first thing that I think perfectionism kills is your mental health. Nobody's perfect. Let's just get that out in the open. You're not, as much as you try it, and I'm sure you're a wonderful, amazing person. I know you are, because you're a human being. And I believe inside all human beings have some divinity and worth, even if you're not perfect. So let's get that on the table, right? So you're not perfect, neither am I. That's clear. But when you're a perfectionist, you hold this impossible standard up, not only to yourself, but to other people. We're going to get to that. You hold this impossible standard that you can't possibly meet. So God forbid you make a mistake. The world just about comes to an end. At least it did for me for a number of years. And then the beating myself up begins. And the more I beat myself up, that's a roller coaster, or a merry-go-round, wrong ride. That's a merry-go-round that, keeps happening, because the more you beat yourself up, the more you don't like yourself, so the more you beat yourself up. So that's the first thing I think perfectionism kills, is your mental health. And it's impossible to meet the standards that are set in perfectionism, because nobody's perfect. We all make mistakes. It's how we learn and grow. Now, I actually welcome mistakes, because it means I'm learning. It also means I'm trying something I haven't tried before, or, expanding in some other way. Maybe I'm trying something I've done before, but in a new way or whatever, and I'm gonna make mistakes. So be kind to yourself in that way. Make mistakes. It's okay. So then the second thing that I believe perfectionism kills, at least for me, is relationships. Sorry, I'm tearing up because when I think of how it's a wonder I had any friends. It's a wonder people put up with me. I was a manager for a number of years, and I was so hard on some employees with this perfectionist attitude. And I mean, I remember having Thanksgiving over my house one day, and my boyfriend was trying to help me, and I was just like berating him because he wasn't doing it right. So that's another thing. And we're going to come back to, not only is perfectionism a coping mechanism to try and get love or avoid rejection, and all those things, but it's also an ego thing. We're going to come back to the ego thing in a minute. And then the third thing that I believe perfectionism kills is forward motion. It is a grand excuse to not try something new or anything, right? Because one, with perfectionism, there's often indecision because you don't know what to do because which one's going to be perfect? Guess again, neither one. Just let you know, a little clue, a little secret. Shh, nothing's perfect. Choices, people, the world, nothing is. Don't tell anyone I said that. But anyway, it kills forward motion. You can't make a mistake. Just yesterday, I did another video. I recorded another video for this series, and I recorded it 3 times. Now, I finally, but the third one, like the first one, I actually made a mistake, so I really did need to record it. But the second one wasn't good enough because I wasn't speaking from my heart. I was trying to remember what I said in the first one. So I made a third one. But finally on the third one, I said to myself, this is good. And even if it's not, I'm putting it out there just because I don't want to get into that perfect ideal that doesn't exist. And therefore I never post a video or I keep having to redo it. So perfectionism can really kill forward motion. It can kill growth. It can kill trying something new, something exciting. So now that we talked about the coping mechanisms, like, wanting to be perfect so you can get approval, get love, avoid rejection, all of those things, or avoid failure too, which is one of the reasons why you don't have forward motion, because you don't want to fail. You don't want to seemingly be imperfect. So you avoid, making decisions or trying something new. So those are all coping mechanisms. But the other thing I learned, and this is what really helped me stop doing it so much, not only to myself, but especially to others, there's an ego boost. I don't know if you guys have heard of somebody named Aaron Dowdy. He's very popular on YouTube. I'm actually taking a course from him and Victor Odo right now, which is off the charts good. But anyway, he talks about what are you getting, and he taps his arm like a hit, like doing drugs, like intravenous drugs or whatever. Like what's the hit? And many teachers talk about the ego and its mechanisms and what does it get out of it. So let me go into a little bit of explanation, and this I can definitely speak from experience because I did it, unfortunately, over and over again, and I do regret it. But the ego hit is when you try to be perfect, you get what David R. Hawkins, which is an author that I highly recommend. David R. Hawkins talks about juice, the ego juice, like a hit. What juice do you get when you're a perfectionist? Well, one, you get to compare other people. Oh, they're not doing it right. They don't do it like I would do it. I would never do it that way. And you get a little tiny, even if it's unconscious, there's a little tiny, I'm better than they are. there's an ego juice. And, the ego loves to be right. The ego loves to be superior, and it will use anything it can to try and be superior. And perfectionism is one of those things. And the other side of that same coin, the ego juice is, I'm the worst. I'm better than them, or I'm the worst, which is the beating myself up because I'm not perfect. So, next time you go to be perfect or to compare somebody to your perfect ideal and they're not measuring up clearly, because nobody can, ask yourself, what juice am I getting out of this? Is the ego getting a little little bolster, because it's, oh, I'm better. I do it more. I do it this way. It's much better. It's much smarter to do it this way. Are you getting a little juice? Are you avoiding something different, new? What is perfectionism giving you? And I think with a little bit of inquiry, a little bit of curiosity, not beating yourself up, but a little inquiry, you might find some very interesting mechanisms going on in your own consciousness that help you stop doing it to yourself and others.